Thomas tells me a story where he and his wife went to the ranch headquarters alone in the middle of the night to troubleshoot a technical problem with one of the ranch surveillance cameras. He says the moment they arrived, they felt uneasy.
It was not a good feeling that night. It was one when you come in the gates, the hair start standing up on your arms.
While troubleshooting at a computer, they heard various strange sounds, but nothing was there. And then, he says, a voice spoke to them.
It sounded like a male or a man standing between my wife and I. We both heard it at the exact same time, just said, "You need to leave now." And my wife and I looked at each other. She's like, "Did you hear that?"
How loud was it?
About like that. "You need to leave now." And I thought it was auditory. Okay, we both thought we were hearing it with our ears. I went to reach forward for the mouse and on this download, and we heard it a second time. "You need to leave now."
Frightened, Thomas and his wife did leave, but he says he would hear a similar disembodied voice on the ranch on 2 other occasions.
And at this point, having been raised very religious, the Holy Ghost, this still small voice, right? That's what I assigned it to.
Thomas grew up in the Mormon religion. The Holy Ghost in Mormonism is described as a still small voice and is believed to be a real spiritual entity that comforts you, guides you, and sometimes literally talks to you. I also grew up Mormon, and I would often hear church members tell stories about a voice that spoke to them. Usually, in most of the stories I heard, the voice was a warning. Don't go down that alleyway. Don't go to that party. Don't get in that car. For Thomas, he says he heard,
"You need to leave now."
It's hard not to notice how religion plays a role in a Skinwalker ranch. Specifically, Mormonism. Does Mormonism directly or indirectly play a role?
That's a valid question. When you have so many participants that have a similar cultural background or cultural programming.
Everyone in the Skinwalker crew that I met that day had at one point been involved with the Mormon church.
I was curious, you guys, is everyone here at this table either current Mormon, grew up Mormon, Mormon heritage, that kind of thing? I was just curious about culturally.
I would say, yeah, we've all have experiences, and we're all in different places with that, I would say.
That's how I met him.
Yeah.
I was his mission trainer.
Oh, you were his senior companion?
That's correct.
He was my father.
Yeah, you guys were...
He was my senior companion, my trainer in Hawaii.
Fugel and Arnold met each other on a Mormon mission in Hawaii in 1992. And as someone who also served a Mormon mission and was, at one point, actively involved with the church, it's hard not to notice the religion's subtle influences here at Skinwalker Ranch.
Mormon theology, I believe, provides a very compelling roadmap or explanation when it comes to understanding our place in the universe. I mean, I love my faith. I was raised to believe that we're not alone in the universe, that there are worlds without number, that there is a higher power, that there is a divine, inspired nature to our existence.
When Fugel says there are worlds without number, that comes directly from Mormon theology. In the church, it's taught that there are multiple dimensions of reality, separated by a spiritual fabric of space-time they call the veil. Within all of these dimensions are worlds without number, worlds full of people who are alien to our Earth. Traveling between these dimensions is possible through the power of God and through the power of Satan. It should be noted that Harry Reid, the late U.S. Senator who believed there was indeed something paranormal at Skinwalker Ranch, and who went on to sponsor the creation of a Pentagon program to study and investigate the ranch, was also a lifelong member of the Mormon Church. When asked by journalist and former Bigelow associate George Knapp how he reconciled his Mormon beliefs with a study of the paranormal, Reed said this.
Anyone that's looked at Mormonism at all understands that we believe that there are other worlds, and so Joseph Smith, when he was murdered at 38, he came up with this idea. He claimed he got it from, as we believe, from divine intervention, but he was right and others are wrong, because I think there's no question that there are other worlds. So